Okay, I have Ian Zarvos on the show now, who's going to be fighting on January the 22nd at Shamrock FC 335. Ian, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I appreciate the time. Glad we could connect, and a lot to get to here today. But first, I just want to start with your training camp. This is my first time interviewing you, so I want you to tell me a little bit more, about your coach, your teammates, and your preparations for this fight.
Yeah. So my head coach is Kevin Engel. He's always been my coach from day one, and however, I have another coach, a professional boxer, Ryan Counterman. And those two guys are in my corner. But I also have, so myself and Ryan own a gym in, O'Fallon, Missouri, and it's called SCMMA West. It is a division of St. Charles MMA, which you've probably maybe heard of. They've had quite a few people go to the bigger shows. So I get to train with, a lot of the people there as well.
So what is your background in combat sports? Do you come from a certain discipline?
Is bar fighting considered a discipline? No, I really don't. So my story is kind of different than most people. Maybe I did get, I used to get in a lot of trouble at bars and stuff like that. And I was about 240 pounds out of shape. And I walked into Kevin Engel's gym and told him that had no interest in fighting, just told him I wanted to get in shape. Trained with him one-on-one for about a year. And before I took my first fight, then did a bunch of amateur fights, got to go to like Florida and fight at IKF and, do that stuff. And then, I've done, all my fights, have been for Shamrock, all the way through the amateur level. And then, I turned, pro this last year or this year. I don't remember. I've had 2 pro fights. So.
Okay. In this fight, it's actually a kickboxing bout, and it's going to be at 185 pounds. So what do you walk around at now? What's that cut like to 185?
This one's actually going to be at 175. So normally I fight at 170. The gentleman that wanted this fight, for some reason, wanted to fight me at 175. Normally I walk around, when I'm fighting at 170, I have been as heavy as 215 before. But normally, I try to stay around 200, 195, 200. And then I generally diet down. And this will be great because I have that extra 5 pounds. I woke up today at like 181. So I only have to get to 175. So should be pretty easy.
What's the discipline like during the holidays, getting ready for a fight? Because we just got through Thanksgiving, Christmas, the New Year. Everyone's, being a little bit loose with their diet. How is that for you this time of year when you're preparing for a fight?
Yeah, it's pretty rough. But everybody around me is pretty supportive most of the time. A lot of times guys like to eat, cookies and ice cream and stuff in front of me. But it's all in fun. But yeah, it is rough during the holidays. As I actually wasn't planning on fighting in January at first. This gentleman kind of called me out, wanted to fight me. And so here we are.
All right, so we'll dive into a little bit more about that later. Cody Naucke, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but that's who you're going to be competing against. As far as just your overall goals in combat sports, tell me a little bit more about that. Like, what are you hoping to accomplish here in 2022 and moving forward?
Yeah, so I focus on one fight at a time. I'm a little bit older than most people doing this, so I focus on one fight at a time, and I kind of see what happens after that. One of my goals before I stop is to actually do a bare knuckle boxing for some organization. So that's one of my goals. and other than that, it's kind of take one fight at a time and see how I feel, see, how I recover, and the training, and obviously my businesses and stuff like that. So
Okay, well, I know what your primary job is, and that's going to keep you pretty busy. You run your own repossession company, so tell me a little bit more about that and your day-to-day work, because I'm sure that's going to be very interesting.
yeah, so back in 2006, purchased a small repossession company, and now when I purchased it, we were picking up about 100 cars a month, and now pre-COVID, we were picking up 600 to 700 cars a month, and now we're at around the 500-600 range. But it's there's a lot of vehicles out there that aren't being paid for, so it keeps us pretty busy. And we're only one of the companies in the area. There's multiple companies in the area that do some of the same numbers that we do. So it's a very interesting business, though.
Yeah.
So
Give me a crazy story, man. I'm sure you have one. I mean, people probably, I guess I've never stood next to you. I don't know if you're 6'5" or if you're 5'10", but if you're a professional fighter, I got to imagine you know what you're doing out there. So you probably had some crazy situations where people have wanted to fight you to not let you take their vehicle, right?
yeah, generally. So believe it or not, when I was heavier and not in shape, people would challenge me a lot more. Now, I don't consider myself a really big guy. I mean, I'm not real tall or anything, but I'm in pretty good shape. And now it's more of people get a little bit hostile, and then when I start talking to them, they calm down pretty quickly. So it's, but yeah, I mean, we've had, my employees, including myself, we've had guns pulled on us. When I first started, I got held hostage in a business here at gunpoint by two guys, just because I told him I was there to repossess the car. I didn't even have the car hooked up or anything. So yeah, that was interesting. And there's been a couple scuffles and stuff like that, but it's not as bad as the TV shows portray. A lot of people know that they're behind on their payments, and they know that it's coming. So
You used to be a bail bondsman apprehending fugitives as well, right? So, I mean, goodness gracious, you just seem to, I guess, like putting yourself in the line of fire for some dangerous jobs here. What is it about that kind of work that you gravitate towards?
I don't, I've asked myself that same question. I guess I just like the adrenaline rush of it, and it just keeps me going, I guess. And I think that's why I like training and fighting so much. It's just that challenge and the adrenaline rush of it. There's nothing like fight night. You cannot duplicate that feeling, stepping in there, and the nerves, and just the excitement and everything. It's great.
So tell me how you're feeling, how your body's feeling as camp winds down and the big fight night is right around the corner.
So now, right now, I feel pretty good. I'm only on a half gallon of water today. So earlier in the week on Saturday, I started water loading. I was drinking 2 gallons, and then slowly cut it down. Today I'm on a half gallon. Tomorrow I will probably not feel as great because I'll be on a quarter gallon for the whole day. Calorie intake is pretty low right now. Before we talked, I just had 2 very, very small pieces of chicken. So, I feel good right now. I know that Thursday night when I cut the weight, I'll feel a little down, but after weigh-in, I know how to properly rehydrate and stuff, so I'll feel fine.
Now, this event for Shamrock is going to be in St. Charles, Missouri. Do you expect to have a lot of support, a lot of fans and friends there come fight night?
I do. Yeah, myself and one of my training partners, sparring partners is fighting that night as well. So yeah, we have a lot of support coming out. It's going to be a great night. I believe last time I checked, when I talked to the promoter, they were pretty much almost sold out of all their tickets. Maybe had some general admission left, but other than that, they're pretty sold out.
So Shamrock FC, that's a big promotion regionally here. For anybody that can't be there come fight night, can they watch it at home or on their phone?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe they stream it on Fight TV, FITE .TV. There's a pay-per-view option. I think it's actually fairly inexpensive, especially if you compare it to something like UFC or something.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let's talk about your opponent. You said that he called you out, that he wanted this fight. So what's the backstory behind that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think he called me out like disrespectfully, but he did. So basically, the backstory is we were supposed to fight as amateurs a couple times. For whatever reason, it didn't pan out. I had completely wrote it off when I turned pro. And then he decided to fight Ryan Counterman, my business partner, at a Guns and Hoses, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's a police versus firefighters type deal, or first responder event for charity. And he decided to fight him, and I was in Ryan's corner, and I guess he had talked to Ryan and told Ryan he was fighting me in January. And so Ryan came to me and asked me if I was fighting him, and I said, nah, I haven't heard anything about it. And sure enough, after the fight, I talked to the promoter, and he said, yes, he wants to fight you. And I said, okay, sounds good to me. So,
all right. So when you look at his skill set and what he brings to the table, how does this matchup shake out for you? I mean, he was 4-7 as an amateur. He's 0-1 as a pro boxer. So do you feel like he has any skill set to really challenge you in this fight, or do you feel like you're going to be able to overwhelm him?
I feel like, so me personally, I've never talked crap on an opponent. I've never, said really anything bad. As far as if you just get down to it, I believe that I'm going to be stronger and hit harder. But he is a kickboxer. I believe, I know he's tried other things, but I believe he is a kickboxer at heart. And so, as well as myself, I believe I am as well. I've tried MMA, I've tried boxing. And there's just something I love about kickboxing. So I think it's going to be a good fight. But I'm going to have to say that I'm pretty confident in myself and my skills.
All right. Well, January 22nd, it all goes down. Shamrock FC 335. If you can't be there in St. Charles, Missouri, make sure you buy the pay-per-view on Fight TV. Ian Zarvos meets Cody Naucke in a kickboxing bout. Really great interviewing you for the first time, man. I appreciate the time. Before I do let you go, I want to give you the floor. Tell people where to follow you on social media. If you have anyone to thank, any sponsors or anything to plug, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I want to thank my my gym, St. Charles MMA West. My strength and conditioning, Precision Fitness and Medical Spa here in St. Louis. Rise Realty is one of my sponsors, Redbird Concrete. And yeah, I have a Twitter at iZarvos, and Instagram is Ian Zarvos. And then, that's about it. I mean,